18 years of coaching business owners who are seeking to grow their business, there is one thing absolutely guaranteed to get me ranting, and that is lazy pricing advice. I absolutely hate, with a passion, silly slogans like charge what you're worth, just double your prices today to double your business. These things are actually so counterproductive. I'm not having a go here at any of the business gurus, business coaches, business advisors. This is not about people. This is about understanding that there is advice out there that is not only counterproductive, but will absolutely hold you back and really stop you making the progress that you need to in your business. So today I'm going to explain why I really hate some of these lazy pricing slogans, these sound bites, but also give you a really, really practical tool, a practical question, so that you can get past the uncertainty that so many of these questions and slogans often create. So let's start with one of my absolute favourites. Charge what you're worth. Oh my God. Now, we hear this a little bit less than we used to. I think probably 3 or 4 years ago, this was just everywhere, all over the place, constantly. Charge what you're worth, charge what you're worth, charge what you're worth. Now, here's the problem that this creates is this creates a link for you between your personal worth as an individual and the price that you charge for your business. But your business is an entity in its own. Your business is all about the service that you deliver and the results. And this is nothing to do with your value as a person. As an individual, you are absolutely priceless. You are not a pound sign. But when you start to think about this advice, like charge what you're worth, it naturally reflects all these questions of, can I really charge that? Am I really worth that? And what it does is it drags you into a state of making pricing decisions based on emotion, based on gut feel, based on confidence levels. And none of these make commercial sense. These are not the criteria that will help you make sure that your pricing is correct. If anything, they're likely to hold you back. Yes, they sound exciting and enormous and inspiring, but actually, I cannot tell you how many people I have seen who've ended up really holding themselves back based on this big, exciting advice that actually makes people feel inferior. It's a great way to bring in the joys of things like imposter syndrome. Just as much so with the classic things of just double your prices. Yes, you'll lose your clients, but it doesn't matter if you lose half of them if you double your pricing. Again, crazy advice. This is just not something that bears logical sense. When you are a small business, every client is valuable. And the thought of alienating half your clients or more by going crazy with your pricing, for most people is absolutely terrifying. But there's also no logic to it. How do you evaluate that you're charging half what you should be? There has to be some substance behind that to give you the conviction to know that there is logic, there's rationale, there's commercial sensitivity to the price that you are charging. There has to be that logic. Otherwise, you will never feel comfortable quoting those prices, writing those prices, talking about those prices with potential clients. And the moment that you try and go in at a crazy price, which your mind and your subconscious don't agree with, then what you'll find is that you will be either holding back and you won't talk price at all, or you'll mention it, but your lack of confidence will be massively visible. And at that point in time, the customer will immediately think she's not confident, he's not confident in that price, they cannot be worth that price. So it's really, really counterproductive. So what am I going to tell you to do instead? Let's think about getting this back to a logical commercial footing. And here is the one thing for you to think about. The joy of this is it is actually annoyingly simple. And you really need to come back to value and a fair exchange of value, because that is my definition of price. When your price is right, it creates a fair exchange of value. So that doesn't mean that you should do everything as cheap as chips. It doesn't mean you charge as much as you can get away with. What it means is you charge the right price based on the value that you deliver. Now, what this does is it brings you back to logic thinking. It takes away the emotion and the fear and that lack of confidence that gets in the way of you putting your prices to where they really ought to be. So you do need to get really clear on the value you deliver. So look at the results you generate for clients. Look at the feedback you get from them. Look at the testimonials, the LinkedIn recommendations, but look at throwaway comments that they make to you in person or through WhatsApp or anything like that. Think about the things that your clients say about the impact that you create for them, because that impact is the definition of your value. And then think about, what does that impact, what do those results really mean to that client, and what does that come to in the sense of value? You might not always be able to put a pounds and a pence and what have you sign on it, but clients will tell you that the value of peace of mind, of getting time back, of new leads, of a slicker, smoother team, of calm and consistency, the value of those things is priceless. And that's what you need to really dig into to then understand what's a fair exchange of value, and that will define for you where your price should be. So next time you hear some guru online giving you some crazy pricing advice that makes you question everything you're doing, just bring it back to this question of, what's the value I deliver and what is a fair exchange for that value? Because let me tell you, if you deliver astonishing value to your customers, then you are absolutely entitled to be paid an astonishing price for delivering it. It's not about being expensive, being cheap, it's about being fair. But fair not just to the customer, fair for you as well. That price should be delivering a result for your business as much as it delivers a result for your client's business. So if you need help or advice with this, if pricing is a real challenge for you, get in touch with me at tailory.co.uk and I would love to help.